So let's read through the fifth trumpet. So that goes to verse 12 of chapter 9. And the fifth angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to the earth, and he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit. He opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from the shaft rose smoke like the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened with the smoke from the shaft. Then from the smoke came locusts on the earth, and they were given power like the power of scorpions of the earth. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth, or any green plant or any tree, but only those people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. They were allowed to torment them for 5 months, but not to kill them. And their torment was like the torment of a scorpion when it stings someone. And in those days people will seek death and will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee from them. In appearance, the locusts were like horses prepared for battle. On their heads were what looked like crowns of gold. Their faces were like human faces, their hair like women's hair, and their teeth like lions' teeth. They had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the noise of their wings was like the noise of many chariots with horses rushing into battle. They have tails and stings like scorpions, and their power to hurt people for 5 months is in their tails. They have as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek he is called Apollyon. The first woe has passed. Behold, 2 woes are still to come. So the first thing we see is after the fifth angel blows his trumpet, we see, actually displayed here, we actually see a brief description of the fall of Satan. So we actually see Satan's fall described here. And in other visions, we'll see it re-described again. But here we see a brief little showing of the fall of Satan being cast down to the earth, and he has the key to the bottomless pit. We then see that locusts are the thing that are released from this pit. And locusts are always described in the Bible as being very, very horrible creatures and horrible judgments. If I could please ask one of y'all, could one of y'all turn to Joel 1, 7 through 12 for me and read that for me? Because this is a good reference, especially from Scripture, of the effects of locusts on men.
Joel 1, 7 through 12?
Yes.
It has laid waste my vine and splintered my fig tree. It has stripped off their bark and thrown it down. Their branches are made white. Lament like a virgin wearing sackcloth for the bridegroom of her youth. The grain offering and the drink offering are cut off from the house of the Lord. The priests mourn, the ministers of the Lord. The fields are destroyed, the ground mourns, because the grain is destroyed. The wine dries up, the oil languishes. Be ashamed, O tillers of the soil. Wail, O vine dressers, for the wheat and the barley, because the harvest of the field has perished. The vine dries up, the fig tree languishes, pomegranate, palm, and apple. All the trees of the field are dried up, and gladness dries up from the children of man.
Thank you. So we see from Joel in his dealing with the destruction of locusts in the Old Testament, that locusts, when they come through, they strip out everything, that nothing is remaining. And even there, he mentions at the end that joy has been stripped from men, even as well as all the land and the plant life and everything. But these locusts are obviously different. The locusts that we see here, they're greater in appearance. They're described in a way to make them terrifying. They're described with aspects that just show their fierceness. Being of human appearance shows their intelligence. Their teeth like lions shows their deadliness, and their breastplate their indestructibility. Their wings, their ability to travel unabound. the mass multitudes of them rushing like horses in the battle, showing that the amount of them. Clearly, the picture of these locusts is meant to be terrifying.
Yeah, and this one it says people will seek death but will not find it. That just shows you how bad it gets, I guess.
Yeah. So what are these figures doing, essentially, right? That these demonic figures, they are given the command, and they're called locusts, but they are specifically given the command not to touch the grass of the earth or the green plant or any tree. These locusts are after men, after the wicked men. These demonic figures have the power to hurt people by removing their joy to the extent that they would desire death, and they can't have it. So it seems clear to me that what this is expressing is that this judgment on people is a demonic judgment that causes people to lose their joy. Most likely some sort of, it sounds to me at least, some sort of demonic depression just about. That causes people to seek after death and would rather die than live. And that this is the judgment that's being carried out on these people for their persecution, for the persecution of the saints and for the persecution of the martyred. And we know that this is specifically towards the wicked because they are commanded not to mess with anybody that has the seal of God on their heads. So those who are the elect, of God, are not affected by these creatures, but the wicked are. And they're tormented by them. And they're hunting them. And then we see that the king of these creatures is Satan himself, because it gives us two different languages here. And the name for both of these languages, either Abaddon means destruction, Apollyon means destroyer. And so we see Satan being given the name of destruction and destroyer here, and that he is these demonic creatures' king, here to remove the joy out of people, essentially.